When this idiot atheist reads, we're going to read My Last Lecture by Charles Dunn. And it's very small. You can get these at Sword of the Lord. And these are quite small, which is very, 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 very good for us, right? Suppose you're delivering your last lecture or speaking to the last group of people you would ever have opportunity to address. What would you say? I have chosen the theme of my last lecture for several reasons. A few years ago, a graduate student, distinguished professors on our campus from all disciplines were asked to deliver their last lectures in the university-wide last lecture series. Frequently, I quietly probed the dilemma which must have faced those professors as they wrestled with their last lectures. In selecting this theme, I too have had to wrestle with this dilemma. Should I lecture on a subject narrowly related to my own discipline of political science? Should I deliver on a subject broadly speaking to the critical issues of our day, blah, blah, blah? What is the meaning that I had found in life? Okay, here you go. So the content of my last lecture is my personal philosophy of life. What is the meaning of life? Among most people, the search for meaning in life cannot be denied. Mark Twain once said, "From the cradle to his grave, a man never does a single thing which has any first or foremost object save one, to secure peace of mind, spiritual comfort for himself." Mark Twain did not share my personal philosophy of life, but he did identify what most people in one way or another identify as a principal goal in life, namely peace of mind, whether through the drug cult or a consciousness-raising group, whether through psychiatry or a guru. People from all walks of life are searching for meaning in life, inner happiness, and peace of mind. And of course, as you can imagine, he's going to say you can only find Christianity. I would like to share with you what has given me meaning in life. Even though we do not live in the throes of radical revolutionary ferment today, kind of we do now, anyway, with these psychotic social justice warriors. We do live in difficult times when many scholars are deeply concerned about the future of American civilization. A cursory reading of Gibbon's Rise and Fall of the Roman Empire and Toynbee's study of history readily established many frightening parallels between our civilization and other great civilizations which fell from greatness. Spencer's analogy that civilizations have 4 seasons, spring, summer, fall, and winter, suggested the winter of our civilization may be at hand. One of Shakespeare's 3 witches in Macbeth aptly described the climate of our day when she said, "Fair is foul, and foul as fair hovers through the fog and filthy air." Each day the new seems only to give birth to reality from the womb of the impossible and unbelieving. Man or myth, hoax or history? In this person, Jesus Christ, man or myth, hoax or history? Antagonists scholars in many walks of life during many periods of history, and from many vantage points, quickly give us the answer to our first question: Jesus, man or myth, hoax or history? From England, University of Manchester, Professor F. Bruce has summarized my toy with the fancy of Christ myth, but they do not do so on the ground of historical evidence. The historicity of Christ is the axiom for the unbiased historicity of Julius Caesar. Yeah, right. It is not the historians who propagate the Christ myth theories. Yeah, right. If that's true, then why is there no evidence outside the Bible of Jesus? All those extra biblical, mentions, supposed mentions, is explainable through other methods. You go to R&R, many others, they do it. I don't need to do it. The New York Times reported on the first page of the February 13th, 1972 edition that 2 Hebrew university archaeologists have discovered an Arabic manuscript by the Jewish historian Josephus, which authenticated documents and historical evidence of Jesus. Now, of course, if you know this, you know that actually that's not true. Those where Josephus mentions Jesus, the evidence shows that was after. Not to mention, have you read Josephus? 1 second. Sorry about that, but I have read the works of Josephus. It's a very good book, The Complete Works of Flavius Josephus. It's translated by William Winston A.M. Very good book. When you read it, you can kind of tell that the Jesus stuff was added afterwards. You can kind of tell, because it doesn't fit with what he's saying. Plus, Josephus is Jewish. Read the type of Jew he was. There's no way he's going to call Jesus a God. Did I skip something? That don't matter. Impact on history. And now on to the second and in some respects more important question. What has been the value of his impact on history? Flowing from the pens of intellectual antagonists and scholarly critics is a flood of ink indelibly writing on the pages of history the virtues of Jesus. Yeah, I guess we are on that, huh? Christ. Let's see, did we miss anything? No. You know, the archaeologists who discovered the manuscript, Jews, a historian, a Jew who was never associated with the Christian faith, the manuscript Arabic. That doesn't mean nothing, since I already explained that to you. You can look these things up. Now, David Strauss says, Jesus Christ, historical, not mythical, is an individual, no more symbol. That doesn't... Jewish thinker. Think about that. One of the greatest thinkers and writers from the Unitarian tradition, William E. Channing, eloquently stated that the sages and heroes of history are receding from us, and history contracts the record of their deeds into a narrower and narrower page. But time has no power over the name and deeds of the words of Jesus Christ. And, you know, think about it. A million years from now, who's going to remember what's going on today? You know, think about it. All this stuff is going to be forgotten. It will be long forgotten. All the lists of the presidents of the United States will be forgotten. Nobody's going to even care about that stuff. You know, hey, let's face it. Most of the stuff is going to be forgotten. You know, more intellectual antagonists and more scholarly critics, it can safely be said, have had more good to say about Jesus Christ and his impact on history than any other man on perfection. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, Jesus is the most perfect of all men that ever yet appeared. I love these, arguments from authority. Like one person, like what they say actually matters. You know, thankfully science doesn't work that way. You know, one scientist believes something, everybody else believes it. You're gonna have to prove it in science. There's no belief on the universality of his importance. The Unitarian thinker Theodore Parker said, Jesus Christ rises free from all prejudice of his age, nation, or sect of greatness. Islam Quran concludes that Jesus Christ is the greatest above all in this world and in the world to come. Oh, goodness. The Quran don't think of him as Christ. On personality, Jewish writer Shalom Ash says, Jesus Christ is the outstanding personality of all time. On symbolic virtue, Thomas Carroll indicates Jesus Christ is our divinest symbol. Higher has the human thought not yet reached. On a model for life, three great minds, none of whom claim to be a Christian, made these comments. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe stated that the human mind, no matter how far it may advance in every other department, will never transcend the height and moral culture of Christianity as it shines and glows in the Gospels. Wow. That proves to me that I'm convinced on the perfection of human culture. The German scientist and philosopher Ernst Haeckel, a protagonist of atheistic rationalism, concludes, beyond all doubt, the present degree of human culture owes in great part its perfection to the propagation of the Christian system of morals and its ennobling influence. Wow. And finally, on the acquisition of knowledge, the historian George Bancroft states that Christianity has attracted to itself the profoundest thinkers of the human race and is in no way hindered by the ever-advancing tide of human knowledge. Not true anymore. Examine the criticisms, the potpourri of tribute from intellectual antagonists and scholarly critics could go on and on and on, but let us stop here to examine two critical charges against my philosophy of life. First, the charges made by Aldous Huxley and Bertrand Russell, considered to be confirmed agnostics, and not indeed avowed atheists. Second, the charge that much evil has been done in the name of my philosophy of life. Concerning Huxley and Russell, one must examine the premises or foundations of their charges. First, Huxley stated that he had motives for not wanting the world to have meaning, and with Russell, scholars are doubtful if he even glanced at the four Gospels, the original source of the Christian philosophy of life, when he wrote the tract entitled Why I'm Not a Christian. So I must ask, do we want to accept the charges of one who claimed that he did not want life to have meaning? Do we want to accept the charges of another who reveals hardly a glance at the original source of that which he criticized? I was a Christian and I read the four Gospels. I love how they contradict, especially the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, how they're different in each Gospel. Amazing. Now concerning the charge that much evil has been done in the name of Christianity, I would be blind to the pages of history not to acknowledge the legitimacy of this charge. So then, how do I respond? First, with the analogy. Second, with the analysis. Most likely you have a favorite sport such as football, basketball, or baseball, most, if not all of us, would quickly concede that any one of these sports is good, but we would also have to readily conclude that sports can be used for evil purposes, such as gamblers, getting basketball players to engage in point-shaving scandals. Whenever one finds something good, it will not be uncommon to find persons with sinister motives, ready to take advantage of the good in order to achieve wrongful ends. Yeah, but there's nothing on football, baseball, basketball, or any of that tells them to do these things. But in the Bible, there is, especially the Old Testament. But that's the New Testament. But that's the Old Testament. Yeah, well, Philippians, tell that to Paul when he says the whole Bible is for reproof and all that stuff, you know. And also James 4:4 and all that other stuff about separation and all that, you know. You might want to check that out. That has a lot of meaning. And then Revelation. A lot of Christians want to make sure that happens. So it is with Christianity. Wars have been fought and cultural practices protected which bear no resemblance to the tenets of Jesus Christ's teaching enunciated in the Gospels. A friend of mine clearly distinguishes between cultural religion and biblical faith. He says much of the organized church today has allowed its thinking and its values to be conformed to the world. And so the ways we allow our culture with its civil religion determine our scholarship to political power instead of the scriptures and the revelation of Christ. You know, C.L. Lewis, H.G. Wells, both great minds, the one found meaning in life, the other did not. And another contemporary English, you know, the preeminent challenge in life, according to Mark Twain, is to secure peace of mind. The purpose of this, my last lecture, has been to test that which has given me peace of mind against the comments of intellectual antagonists and scholarly critics. These great thinkers provide convincing evidence for the authenticity of Jesus Christ and a compelling testimony for the benefit and impact which his life has upon history. Yeah, if you already believe it, it's convincing. If you don't believe it, it's not convincing. As one whose philosophy of life is based upon trusting in Jesus Christ, I can say he has given me meaning in life, inner happiness, and peace of mind. Yeah, so Muslims can say the same thing. Just so you know, Charles Dunn. Bye-bye. See, this one was not long, thankfully.